Good morning, LinkedIn friends. Happy Tuesday and welcome to day 7 of our Value First Framework series. I'm Chris Carolyn here with Mr. Crispy Barnett. How you doing today, man?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. Starting last year, it was important to me to just start helping experts inform and educate on all the things I kept running into as I was trying to help people with HubSpot specifically, but also internal to organizations.
Yep.
And this trap we're going to talk about today is interesting, specifically the pairing, because at times it feels like it's the most forced pairing of the two, like qualification trap. How does that relate to partner, value first partner?
Yeah.
Right. So as we dive in today, I'll ask, the listeners and the viewers, it comes down to opportunity cost.
Yep.
Right. Is what we're going to highlight. And, we see time spent through all the other traps, right? They create this situation where we feel like there's scarcity. We need to qualify, and we're doing that instead of building relationships, especially when people start reaching out to try and develop partner programs, right? So what are you seeing out there in relationship to qualification in general?
Yeah. From a partner program standpoint, I think that there is now a pretty strict a qualification trap is probably the best way to describe it, because I don't know of another way to say it without using naughty words, to be honest. But I think what ends up happening is partnerships become parasitic in most use cases, where companies just want to suck the blood out of your customers until it's gone. And that's what their version of partnership is. And so the qualification trap that comes in is, how many customers do you have? Where are you landing your customers? How can we fit into your sales process? How can we fit into your own qualification process? Stuff like that. And ultimately, it's not it's not even a partnership. If you think about the true word of partnership, it's mutual value between both parties. In most cases, it's singular value, and that's why it's parasitic and not an actual partnership.
Yeah. That is the qualification trap in a nutshell. And it's funny how much it aligns with the same situations in the sales process where, it's funny that people have started calling customers and prospects partners, and they want to build partnerships, and then they still act this way, right? Treating potential partners and prospects like they're objects to be processed. And when the qualification, it's clear when it's just pigeonholed, because clearly I'm on some people's list just because I'm a HubSpot solutions partner. And that's the only box I need to check. And then I'm getting outreach saying, hey, we think you'd be a good partner and we'll give you 20%. Right?
Yeah.
And that at that point, it's clearly you haven't seen any of my content. You have no idea who I am. And yeah, so we're here to help today. We're going to start with something I think can help you understand. These traps resonate with a lot of people, but it can be hard to identify and kind of categorize it, communicate it to the rest of the organization, because usually this pressure is coming from somewhere else, especially leadership at times. So we've developed this need diagnostic, NEED, and to help you understand if you're trapped or transformed. N stands for natural, E for enhanced, second E for elevated, and D for distributed. Starting with natural collaboration versus artificial control. Qualification certainly creates this situation of artificial control. Share what obstacles that creates on the way to what natural partnership development actually looks like.
Yeah. The artificial control piece is, I think, a big factor in why you want to become a partner with someone is the starting point in the relationship, because the why is often I'm trying to hit quota, not I want to actually build better partnerships. And that's artificial control in the sense of I want to become your partner because of X, Y, and Z. It's like, no, actually, you want to hit partner. You want to become a partner of ours because you're trying to hit quota for this month, this quarter, whatever it is. And you can do both, is the thing. It's about like the natural collaboration is the key to ensuring that there is mutual traded value on an ongoing basis, and ensuring that is the goal that both parties in the partnership are striving towards, versus falsifying that in the hopes of just getting to the point of leeching off the customers. And that's typically what ends up happening is you start with, we're going to give you 20% commission, we're going to do this for you. Yeah, there's co-marketing opportunities, we'll do a webinar, we'll do blah blah blah. Right, cool, we'll get into it, you will leech off some of your customers, and then that like dream end state never ends up happening. And that's where the artificial control happens, because I think it's kind of manipulative for some partnerships where they come in, promise you the world, leech off your customer base, and then dip out and don't give you anything. And that's exactly what ends up happening when it spins out into like that poisonous state.
Yeah. And so it's pretty obvious. It's like a mindset thing. And like you mentioned, the scarcity mind comes from that. I got to hit a KPI. I got to do this for some unnatural reason. And instead of understanding, like, oh, especially in the HubSpot ecosystem, it's a blue ocean.
Yeah.
Like in most of the opportunity space, as HubSpot's customer user base explodes.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody can keep up with it. So there's an abundant situation happening.
Yep.
Right. And that's what if you lead into partnership conversations with that, there's always win-wins to find. Always. Right.
Yep.
And a lot of that relates to the second E, enhanced human capability. But for this conversation, maybe it's organizational capability makes sense too, versus dependency. Right. So qualification systems, how do they impact the ability to actually create the relationships?
This is a really easy answer. Okay. If you're meeting with your partner person or whatever it is on a weekly basis or biweekly, monthly, whatever it is, and the only thing that you talk about is what deals you have in pipe, that's not a partnership. Period. And that's typically what ends up happening, especially in that value-added reseller model, is you're only having meetings about generating pipeline for them because they're trying to hit quota. They're trying to hit, their revenue goals, whatever it is. Again, there are like beautiful scenarios where you can do both, where ultimately you can talk about, yeah, like I have some opportunities, and some days like it's no, but the conversations instead center around how can I help add value to your business right now. Hence why, like when I joined Supered, one of the things we did like first to like change the way that we were working with partners is our first starting point is getting to know how your business works and how you're servicing customers to use the product to help better the way you service, not sell. We don't even touch selling Supered at all. And so that's where you add value from the get-go. It's like we want to build trust with you and build a foundation, not in a way that requires you to go and qualify people and send us deals, because that's not fair to you as a partner. It's not a good partnership. We want to show value to you in your current customer base, which is why we go to customer first instead of go to market. That's the whole premise of why that was designed. It's because it's more valuable for you and us together in our partnership to go to customer instead of going to market and trying to find deals and qualify.
Yeah. And surprise, that leads to high fit pipeline.
Yes.
Right? Like, and it's this learned helplessness that we see when you're in that situation of like, okay, I can only talk to these people. Anybody else, they assume either themselves or the other people on the team leadership that they can't recognize opportunities like without the framework, right? Without whatever rules or playbook they're following.
Yep.
And so this means they had no idea how to respond to me when they tell me like, oh, I'll give you 20%, and they think it's a done deal. at that point, right? That's the pitch. Oh, like especially if I'm an individual like coach, I'm gonna go right after the 20%. And it's like immediately I'm like, no, that doesn't fit into my sales process. Like, I don't know where I would bring you into the conversation. So
Yeah.
instead, let's collaborate on content, because then you can have exposure. And now you're building trust in a way that whatever you're doing right now is not doing that. Right. And I didn't plan this. Like, there's a script here, but I'm not planning these segues. They're just like, this is how common sense this is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right. Because in that situation where, let's say you take me up, and some people did, right? Elevated value creation, versus optimization, creating content that builds trust and scales. And now is there for you as the partner person, or you as your sales team, to share and actually like create more revenue from. That's much better than me just sending you leads that I hope to get. Like, the qualification differences are immense.
Yeah.
Right. And so take me through what kind of, because at the heart of this framework, it's about, really breakthrough transformations and breakthrough value as opposed to optimization. Like, can you help people understand the difference between those two things?
Yeah. And I think you define it very well in the sense of most partner programs clutch onto the 20% commission piece as the value prop. And nowadays, that's not a value prop that resonates with people as powerfully as it did 10 years ago, as an example. Unless you're selling giant enterprise software where one deal nets you, 20 grand. Like, yes, maybe if someone is like a hardcore seller. But most of these companies that are in a service provider ecosystem make their revenue off of services, not their commission. Hence why this HubSpot ecosystem has just been rattled by the way that HubSpot has changed their partner program, which I think is good personally. And so the response from these app partners, like, they've been stuck in this like optimization mode of like, hey, like, add this to your sales process. Here's our other value props. We're going to add you to Slack. We're going to add you to Partner Stack, and we're going to meet with you once per week to talk about deals that you have. It's like, none of that shit is valuable to me at all. It's like, if I wanted to have a sales manager harass me, like, I'd just go to a car dealership. Like, I don't need you to get on my ass every week. The difference, I think, that most app partners don't understand, or I guess most partnerships generally, is the life of a services provider and what you're trying to do and the things that are actually impactful for you. Because ultimately, the life of a service provider is time spent equates to money. That's literally what it is. And so if you can help solve that area in the sense of, hey, we can save you time, we can give you resources, we can promote you and build your brand authority, that is way more valuable to most people in this ecosystem than a 20% commission of a product that you know nothing about. Because I don't want to take demos of a product, right, and be forced to sell it. I don't want to constantly have to check in on people and harass my own customers about that stuff. Like, instead, like, I want to focus on better retention, right? I want to give a better experience. I want to figure out how I can generate deals for my business in new ways and be taught how to do this by someone who's done it before. And so that's the big difference with most, like, the value creation piece. It's what are you struggling with now? What are you trying to do? That's where we create value for you as a partner. We use our resources and our credibility, our marketing, initiatives, blah, 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 to help you do what you want to do instead of just harassing you to generate deals. It's very black and white. Again, partnership versus like parasitic relationship.
And what I'm being reminded of is why it doesn't work for me. Like, because as soon as this, let's say I did start to build in that 20% into my own revenue goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the conversations I'm having with people, I'm actively qualifying all the time instead of listening, right? I'm looking for, okay, maybe this is a point where I can offer this, and it just changes the dynamic completely, probably subconsciously for most people, right? And that's why these frameworks and these structures, on the other side of that too, right? Like, if they come in like 20% HubSpot solutions partner, now they might be adjacent to other things I need. Like, this is all completely counter to the thing that we know humans want, which is often a one-stop shop,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And when we think about it in relationship to sales processes, so many, like I had struggles internally creating packages like to sell that we would inevitably create during the sales process anyways, because there wasn't enough KPIs basically involved in the other things to actually, oh, a sales team can't focus on that stuff. It's like, oh, but we gotta, and it's because we're thinking about the lift. Like we gotta lift it all of our on our own instead of just enabling valuable partners
Hmm.
who would love to be involved, right? But often they don't know how to, like, that's why I always offer back with content, because most people are bad at content, right? And that's why a lot of them didn't take me up on it. But when we talk about different value for collaborative and joined audiences, right? Instead of seeing that for value extraction, like seeing it for value creation, like that's how you get to win-wins. And that's also what distributed empowerment looks like, right? This D, the last letter in need, versus centralized dependencies. Because what it often leads to is I got to go back to you, like to get any kind of insights or help or whatever. I don't get all the materials I need. Um, and this dependency is what, first of all, doesn't work, right? And second, it reinforces like, hey, I'm helpless at this point. So I'm just sharing this lead. Like, hey, maybe I'll get some 20% from it, but likely I will not. So, and this is how we get the ecosystem at the end of the day, right? You cannot like, one of my favorite parts about the HubSpot ecosystem is they found a way culturally to kind of distribute, you know, resources and really values
Hmm.
in a way that spread through the ecosystem and overcome a lot of these challenges. Um, but I'm curious if you have any, examples to share, from your situation at Superd or, when you were a partner yourself.
Yeah. I mean, if you are dependent upon an app partner to run a piece of your sales process, you are held hostage to like their will, essentially. I mean, that's basically what it is. And I would also flag like with this, and I think this is why like Super has one of the best partner programs out there. And like this is shameless plug, but I think it's because going back to understanding the life of a services provider and how most people don't get it. Like I would argue even most HubSpot PDMs don't really understand the life of a services provider and what it means to be like that kind of person. Because a good example is you mentioned, like I'm going to go back to the content piece you talked about to get back here. Uh, Most services providers like have a list of like call it 10 customers, right? And you know who's at the bottom of that list of 10 customers? Their own business. Like they don't work on themselves, right? They don't promote themselves. They don't create content. Hence why like their content is bad because they don't have time to do it. They don't have the resources to do it and stuff like that. And so successful partnerships challenge the partner in where they are to get them to where they want to go. And so it's very like Challenger Sales is a great book to read. I recommend that everyone reads that. It's fantastic methodology of guiding someone on a journey, regardless of if they think it's the right thing to do or not. Like if you know it's the right way to do it, guide them to where they want to go. And successful partnerships do that exactly, where we're not going to harass you for leads because right now, like you can't even handle servicing these leads. It's like, why would I pluck leads from your customer base if I know that you can't service them? It's going to result in them churning. Like that's bad for both of us. What I can do instead is work with you directly to figure out how can we increase your bandwidth to then service these customers in better ways and figure out what's causing this bandwidth strain that you're experiencing, and that ultimately that's the empowerment piece, which is, okay, I'm now a trusted resource for you because I'm helping you succeed in your business, not by generating the 20% commission for you. Like we can talk about that. And that's obviously an option that's, addressable, but it's more about you're dealing with this. Here's what we can do to help you. Right. And that's like the investment. And I think Cisco does this in the best way possible. Actually, Cisco has I mean, the last stat that I read was they drove $55 billion in 2023, 2024. 51 billion of that came from their partner ecosystem because they've just streamlined this stuff so much. And part of their qualification process for partners is they have a readiness test, which is, are you in a place to do Cisco implementation? If it's a yes, great, you can go in and you can do your stuff, right? If it's a no, they teach you and they bring you there. It's not like you're automatically disqualified. They have a literal course where they bring in someone, educate your business on, hey, here's how you become ready to go and do this. Here's what you need to do exactly to make this happen. Then you enter the program. And so we take a lot of inspiration from models like that, because a lot of partners are just dying for help generally, where it's, I don't know, I'm a headless chicken. I don't know what I'm doing right now. What's the next step for me? And for app partners to go and just say, hey, 20% commission, send me leads, like, that's fucking bullshit if people are doing that. Like, that's abusing a situation, you know?
Yeah.
And so
they're seeing it on the other side, right? Because what we're seeing at Profoundly, and this didn't really smack me in the face like it should have until I heard about it happening. Like, we're all in the same ecosystem centered around HubSpot. And HubSpot itself is always the most ambiguous word in any conversation you're going to use. So when I started hearing about app partners who have, fairly, sizable contracts and implementations, but they could not get the deals across the line because they didn't have anybody who knew what the hell to do with HubSpot. Right. And that's where, like, sure, you can look and ask for HubSpot to be better, in certain situations. This is not one of them. This is where the ecosystem itself has grown into, right? That it can serve the need, but you got to be able to access it more than just with a 20%, commission thrown at people, right? Because what you don't want either, and this is where, like, the revenue numbers and KPIs just went out usually, like, you don't want to just get across the finish line and then have a shitty implementation and onboarding and all that stuff that we hear about, like, every day. So it's been real interesting to see that, come up at Profoundly. And that's why we're trying to build out, these really niche, deep expertise resources across the board. Like, we can't count on HubSpot for that. They're the product company, right? Everybody outside is the application, infrastructure. So if you're hearing this or watching and you're having trouble thinking about how you get out of this trap, I'm going to go through the Value First Partner manifesto commitments just to kind of, so you can visualize and think about what it would be like if you could say these things at the end of the year, right? Because I guarantee you could. It's going to take hard work, but understanding how to communicate internally, right, is going to be so crucial to making these transformations. So number one, we will seek mutual growth over one-sided value extraction. We believe business relationships should create more value for all participants rather than extracting value from one. Number two, we will align on purpose over transaction criteria. We believe authentic partnerships form around shared purpose and aligned values rather than rigid qualification checklists. Number three, we will enable natural value flow over artificial barriers. We believe value wants to move freely between willing participants without unnecessary qualification gates. Number four, we will build ecosystem thinking over isolated transactions. We believe business relationships exist within broader networks of value rather than as isolated qualification events. Number five, we will advance transparency over information asymmetry. We believe partnerships thrive with open, honest communication rather than controlled information flow. Number six, we will develop complementary strengths over commoditized offerings. We believe the most valuable partnerships leverage unique strengths that complement each other. And number seven, we will establish shared success over competitive positioning. We believe business relationships achieve more through collaboration than competition. It's so hard for me to get through that It's so commonsensical. Like, why do we even have to be talking about this?
Yeah.
Like, why are we at this point, in your opinion?
It's because it's been this vicious cycle up until this point, and I don't think anyone's actually been able to change the way that this has been done, interrupt the status quo, and create something that works is the big difference. Because I see a lot of people that want to begin partner programs in their business. Because ultimately, when you think about the fundamentals of scale for a SaaS company, there is a point in time where partners drive a good chunk of your revenue and you invest heavily into that part of your business. Most companies try to build this early on. Well, not most companies, I should say. If you're an ambitious company, you'll try to build it early on. It'll fail and you'll abandon it. And you'll revert right back to this model because a 20% commission layer is a no-cost model to a SaaS company. It means that revenue in means it's like you can calculate that in your profitability very, very easily. The difference with those that take it seriously is if you want to have an actual partnership model where you're helping partners succeed and stuff like that, it is a cost to your business. Like it's a cost to the SaaS company. And ultimately, you're thinking about the long term. You know, like most SaaS companies at that stage see the trees. If you're looking for better partnerships, look at the forest and look at the big picture of what you're trying to achieve, because better partnerships will yield better results for longer amounts of time. They're not going to result in the 20% like transactional, I land 1,000 partners and 2 of them produce. I'd much rather have, a couple months of camaraderie building, partnership building, relationship, value exchanging, and then have that transform into 10 high producing partners that now center their entire business around our product. And that's what's happening now. Is we've invested so much time and energy and resources. Like the amount of content I give away is crazy. And it's not part of my job. I'm not required to give content out at all. I do this because I know it helps partners win. And I seek out other partnerships because I know that it helps both of us win. Like it's as simple as that, where that's the authenticity piece that comes in. Most other partner programs are not authentic with their intention of their partners. It's transactional, not authentic.
Yeah. And that's really the transformation, that we're talking about. Moving from industrial age mindsets to the age of AI at the end of the day is what we're trying to help people accomplish here. And I'll add the caveat for this conversation: the age of AI, humans are still very important, right? But when you try to control them and put them in these boxes, you got a few months to a year left where that's going to work, where AI is just going to enable people to just pass you by left and right because you're not built into this industrial infrastructure that prevents you from making common sense decisions that allow your company to say the commitments that I just said, right? So for someone who recognizes these patterns, where do you suggest they start?
I have two pieces. One is for the partner piece. Analyze your current partnerships and understand the value of what they're giving to you beyond 20% commission, access to a Slack channel that doesn't get used, and then a partner stack login where you register leads. Is there value beyond those 3 things? If not a good partner for you. If you do have partnerships that do something beyond that in the sense of co-marketing or branding or events, content, whatever it is, those are partners that are very hard to find, and lean into those partnerships as much as you can. That's the first step that I would take. And then in addition, find new partnerships that do stuff like that. Like have your own set of qualification criteria for the partners that you choose to work with. If you're a partner with everyone in the ecosystem, that means you're a partner with no one. Choose the ones to play ball with, because good partners will help build your business. Bad partners will bring it down. It's as simple as that. Number 2 on the AI piece, I don't believe AI will replace humans. I believe from a service provider use case, smaller agencies that have tech-enabled services will prevail as the better implementation partners. If you're not designing tech-enabled services through humans, you will be destroyed. One of our highest performing customers right now is a one-man shop, and he's about to hit elite in the HubSpot ecosystem. And he's one guy because all he's done is tech-enabled services. That's the power of AI.
Oh my gosh. He's doing all right.
Yeah.
He's doing all right for himself. Yeah, AI needs tech. And like moving forward, technology includes like AI. Like
That's right.
and you know, I get it. There's a whole infrastructure that needs to be torn down in most organizations. That's what, you know, Value First is trying to overcome. The thing that I always heard internally, which was we can't boil the ocean. We got to focus. And it's like, well, you could say that, but then you're going to get boiled. Like you're going to fall behind, right? We got to figure out ways to start unraveling. I mean, 25, 30 years of, you know, SaaS created practices, in my opinion. But there's a path. That's the whole point. I hadn't seen a path prior to creating, you know, Value First. And, you know, conversations like this help so much, Christopher. And, yeah, I just appreciate you, you know, coming on today to share your expertise.
Yeah. Happy to chat. Thanks for having me.
Tomorrow, we explore the measurement trap with Danielle Urban. Everyone, map where qualification interrupts your natural relationships and share your experiences with us. We'd love to hear it. We'd love to chat with you. Until next time, thanks so much, Christopher.
Awesome. Thank you.